Hello, welcome to Astrology Study Group. This is Astro Breeze, and we will look at the transits for this coming week. We had an interesting weekend last week, kind of coming into this week. We had a Sun square Uranus, and then a Venus Mars square, and we can see. Let me get this out of here. We can see the square still of the sun over to Uranus. The sun it goes a degree a day, and it was like 3 days ago, and we see that it's just passing. So that's like could be energies. Energies blocked. You have ideas and stuff is kind of unjointed, and it's hit and miss, and it wants to come out, and things are popping, and it's like really electric. It's very interesting energy, and sometimes squares are very dynamic. They get you to try harder. They get you to make things work, to really put the pedal to the metal. Sometimes we get a frustration, a lot of things you're running up against, and maybe things you weren't aware of. Suddenly something came up. All right, so that kind of stuff was popping around, and then we had I just wanted to back you up because we have to look at this sometimes dynamically, and we see Venus and Mars at their, we have the mutable. It's like mutable sign and a mutable sign. We see the mutable square, and Venus is moving faster, so it's past that, and it's moving toward its conjunction with Neptune. All right, this is interesting. So Venus kind of had to do a little battle with Mars. It's like, leave me alone. Get away from me. I don't want that. It's bugging me. Stop it. Kind of energy. But now it's come up with Saturn. It's like, I had to go from this puppy on the leg now to this, this boundaries and sour and dour, and, coming up against obstacles and limitations and restrictions. So we got like a week away, but you can see that, as the sun clicks closer to Saturn, that we're moving into some of that. But then we have Venus, getting closer to Neptune. So we got structure maybe to add to our dreams. This is really good to know because we're starting to move forward. We're looking, we're looking to finally move forward. And then today, Mercury, where we are, blah, 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 right here. Mercury finally leaves its shadow. It was in its shadow, or sorry, it went through that degree, it retrograded, and then now it's almost to the spot where it's going to then move out of where it was. So we're going to feel like we're finally getting unstuck because we're going over new ground. This will be new intellectual ground. But then Mercury, we get closer. Wednesday, I'll say, but then we got Mercury going to be closing in on Pluto. So anyway, before I get to there, we have a nice sextile here with Venus over to Uranus. I'll get back over to Mercury in a second, but Venus here, as she's approaching, we've got these two benefic, I say they're feminine energies, going to be uniting soon. But right now, or tomorrow actually, Wednesday, we have Venus making a nice sextile over to Uranus. So this could be sudden. You all of a sudden see something you didn't. You have a sudden liking for something. Something comes up in your values. Money falls in your lap. You try what you've been doing. Like, when we get actually, this won't fall in your lap. You have to work at this one. When you have a sextile of feminine signs, and we have here two feminine signs, that type of sextile is something you have to work more for. When you have it in the masculine signs, it tends to fall more in your lap. So this is something, we've been looking toward, we've been working on, and especially if you have degrees in your own chart, it tends to be that way as well. So this is kind of like a broad, for people. But if you have things that sextiles in your chart, like if a transiting planet is making a sextile to something in your chart, and they feminine signs, that's something you've been working toward. If it's the masculine signs, it may fall more into your lap. It may just happen. All right. But nonetheless, this is things that we've all been working for. We have that, Venus is exalted in Pisces. When it's not in one of its home places of Libra or Taurus, it's where it's an honored guest. This is where, it's like, oh, here, Venus is here. Let's make her favorite meal. Oh, let's let her sit on the best chair. Oh, let's give her this, so she's an honored guest there. And she's making a nice aspect to Uranus. Like, oh, you got me that all of a sudden. Oh, how did you know? It's like that kind of an energy. So go with it, because this is really nice. If somebody gives you a compliment, take it. Don't say, yeah, I got it at Goodwill or something, say thank you. Or somebody said something about you, or your values or something, say thank you for that. Don't get off and try to diminish it. All right. Thursday, we're actually, well, let me go back actually, because we have the moon on Wednesday. We have the moon when it goes through Virgo will be opposing, it's going to be opposing our Venus and our Neptune. So we might have a little bit of a nitpicky emotions, about your wants, your values, your dreams. Your emotions might come in and go, well, you don't really deserve it, or you really weren't, and just like say, shut up to your emotions. Like, no, or direct it into exacting something else. It's like, well, help me to work this out, emotions. Let's get this so we can deserve it, so we can have this. And moon is momentary. So if you get that coming over tomorrow, any weird things, just think to yourself, this will pass. All right. Now, Thursday, we have this approaching conjunction here with Mercury. Mercury is going to go over Pluto. And I feel like Thursday and Friday, we're going to have a lot of stuff revealed. Now that Mercury's out of its shadow, there's going to be some stuff coming up. Messenger Mercury, in Capricorn, establishment, authoritarian, restrictions, strictures, going over Pluto, the depths, death, rebirth, transformation. OMG. I think we're going to keep your ear to the news, and then not traditional only, but all kinds of other news, media, alternative media platforms, listen to Band.video, listen to Stu Peters' show, on BitChute. And I think he's on Rumble, I believe. The Stu Peters. Oh God, there's so many. I don't want to go up. But anyway, there's a lot of, the Brighteon channel. There's a lot of alternative media sources, but I think there's going to be a lot of revealed. If we look at here Thursday, and then we go Friday, and then it goes over, over it. So really watch that. And, and then sometimes right afterwards too, stuff is like, oh my goodness. Okay. Where are we going here? We see how look at, now we're getting these pairs up. Look at the sun getting closer. It's like it'll be a week, less than a week away, when it gets to crossing over here. And then Venus, as it gets closer to Neptune, we have our Jupiter, making it's going to be flying through Aries, but right now it's just into the beginning part of Aries. It's at 7 degrees, and it's closing in on a sextile over to Mars. So here we've got, where this, when I actually sextile, things could come more to all of us. All right, so let's just go Friday. Here's, whoops, let it go to, Saturday. Okay, Saturday. Edging. Oh, and then Mercury here went over, and then now this is going to feel really interesting. Saturday, Mercury leaves Capricorn and, crosses over Pluto, and it goes into Aquarius. Yippee! So this will feel really good, really different. So we got some big reveals, or some big information, or some big transformations, communications about transformations. You think however those two can mix. And then it's like, okay, I'm out of here. I tattletaled, or now I'm in witness protection program. It's all different Volvox here. And then we got, a closing in a little stellium. Mercury's going to join the sun and Saturn. So it's going to go tattle over there. All right. Move that ahead. And then coming into Sunday, we're getting closer. So the Venus, look at they're about the same. Look at 3 degrees and then here 4 degrees. They're about to hit. Let's just kind of look ahead here just a bit because I don't want to leave you hanging. Here's Monday. They're both hanging there. Are that those two? And let's look at Tuesday. We'll come back next week, but we'll pick this up. But then here, look at Wednesday. We have the conjunction first. So I just want to get you ready because your next week it'll kind of already be happening. So get into your dreams. Really visit what you want, but don't be deceived. Also look out for deception because of those two planets could be a little dreamy. Don't sign on the dotted line yet. You go, but let it sit. You can see that the dreams are coming first, and that's what we need to do. We need to put the dreams out, and then as the sun gets crosses over Saturn, I like to think about it. It's like, let's use it as, well, let's bring structure to this. Let's bring a definitive plan to this dream so we can make it happen. It's not going to be sobering. We're going to use that boundary structure, good part of Saturn, with the sun, because that's your light of the sky, the light of the world. It's our what drives the whole thing to bring that into fruition. This is where we can get manifestation. And then we see Venus going past that. And we see next week on Thursday, which we'll talk about. But you have to see the whole dynamic, how everything is moving. And then we get that conjunction there. And then we see Venus is then now marching on her way over to go into Aries and going over Jupiter. But we'll get there. All right. Just wanted you to see how things are rolling ahead and how we can get ready for it. So it's going to be a very dynamic week. Use this time to dream and to get structure in your dreams. We know that it's coming, but dream first. Don't come up with all the reasons why you can't ahead of time, because then it won't work. So get all the reasons why, how you can, how you want it. And then as that sun gets closer, it will start paring away the stuff. You go, oh, this is stupid, or that's wrong. And then it will narrow down and then the form will come out. All right. I hope that helps. This is going to be a very good week. And we're coming into some really dynamic times. Planets are changing signs, moving forward, getting out of shadow. And we should start to feel like we're unstuck. So take this energy, people. Get what you want happening. Let's make changes in the world, positive changes. There's a lot that's wrong, granted, but there's a lot that we as a collective, we all know a lot of this. We all know on so many levels. And, we got to reach the 100th monkey effect of working through all this turmoil that we're in and holding the higher thought, the higher collective, and moving for positive change. All right. That's my rant for today. We'll see you all next week. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.